So you know what I decided to do, like literally right before filming? I decided to paint my nails because, you know, like let's just make putting on makeup just a little bit harder. So I'm just gonna sit here and chat with you guys while my nails dry. Why am I holding my coffee cup like a pterodactyl? What is this? It's like a chicken leg. Dry faster, dry faster. Hello everyone and welcome to another First Impression Friday. I'm going to be doing these for the rest of the springtime. I thought that would be a nice fun way to throw in another video because I love doing first impressions and they're just so much fun to kind of sit down and film with you guys. And so for today's video, I thought it'd be fun to test out the Makeup Revolution products. I've been getting a ton of requests from you guys to test them out. If you guys have any requests for future First Impression Fridays, leave them in the comment section below or thumbs up a comment if you see one that you would like to see next. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already because next week I'm saving some of those Makeup Revolution products that are super popular and I'm including them in my next round of hyped Instagram makeup tested. I have been collecting a ton of products over the last little while. If you missed my last one, I will put it in the cards in case you guys are interested in checking that one out. But don't forget because that's going to be going up next week for you guys. But yeah, I think I've delayed long enough. My nails feel dry, so without further ado, let's get into this. So I think today I'm going to start with the eyes. I'm going to be testing out the Iconic Pro palette. This is the Pro 2 palette. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Lorac Pro 2 palette. I can hear it rattling around in there. What is that? In case you are new to the brand, Makeup Revolution is well known for having a lot of dupes for more high-end products. Sometimes it is a little bit less obvious and sometimes it's almost an exact replica. Like sometimes it's so close that I'm like, is that even legal? But regardless, here we are. So it says here, new super elite formulation of eyeshadows, more impact, easy to blend, soft and butter-like application to create high performance looks, whatever that means. And apparently they come in a range of matter and shimmer shades. No, you heard me correctly, matter. I don't know if you guys can read that, but that says matter. So excellent work on the spell check. So in terms of the actual package itself, it is a typical sort of drugstore-like plastic eyeshadow palette. I do really like how they've embossed sort of a metallic rose gold with their logo on it. That is really awesome. Really digging that. And then on the inside they have all their shadows and then they have this little printout thing that has the names of the shadows actually on it, which is super annoying because it doesn't actually say anywhere else what the names of the shadows are. Well, I guess if you're trying to keep product costs down, that would be one way of doing it. So I guess I'll have to save this and editing Rachel will have to reference the names of the shadows. Sorry about that, editing Rachel. So here are all the eyeshadows right here and I will also put a picture right underneath it of the Lorac 2 palette. So you can see there are some serious levels of similarities here. So it looks like the top row is exclusively matte shades and the bottom row is all shimmer shades. So I'm going to swatch some of these on my hands before I put them on my face. So that is the lightest sort of a shimmer shade. Not as bad as I was expecting. Honestly guys, the quality looks pretty terrible just in terms of like just looking at it, but when you actually swatch it, they are actually a little bit more on the creamy, buttery side of things, which is nice. A little bit dusty, but like look how pigmented that is. All right, cool, I can work with this. So I'm gonna put a little bit of eyeshadow primer on, I'm gonna tape up the outside of my eyes, and then we'll get into applying this to my face. All right, we're good to go. I also put moisturizer on my hands because my hands felt like they were dying. Oh, that's so much better. All right, I'm gonna start with this creamy shade right here and I'm going to be applying that with a big fluffy brush all over the lid. And that's just basically going to set the primer and give me sort of a blank canvas to work off of. All right, then I'm gonna go in with that nice peachy brown there and I'm going to kind of focus that more on the crease and darken that up a little bit. So far in terms of application, I'm really liking them. They are nice and smooth. They go on very easily. They blend out very, very easily. Not having any trouble so far with a light crease color and a base. All right, now I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of a tapered crease brush and I think I'm going to do this kind of a browny charcoal shade and I'm going to concentrate that on the outer kind of a crease area. And then I think I'm gonna go in with the blue after that and kind of smoke that along the lash line. I'm gonna take another fluffy brush and I'm going to blend that all out. And then I'm going to pat this nice shimmery shade right here. I'm just gonna pat that on the lid to add a little bit of a shimmer. It's not as shimmery as I thought it was gonna be, right? That does not look that shimmery. Try applying it with my finger and see if that makes a difference. I don't really see anything. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of the navy blue shade and I'm going to apply that just directly along the lash line. That's a really nice blue shade. I do like that. I like that it's dark. I like that it's pigmented. It's not super dusty either, which is good. Overall, I'm quite happy with this palette. It seems to be doing the job. The only thing I am not loving is the shimmer shade. It didn't really show up the way I intended for it to look on the lid. So I'm kind of disappointed in that, but the matte shades are really nice. All right, so now my son is going down for a nap, so I'm going to silently be testing out the Ultra Brow palette, which has 4 blendable eyebrow powders, 2 tinted brow waxes, some arch enhancing cream. Well, that sounds fancy. As well as some highlighter powder, some eyebrows, 2 applicator brushes, mini tweezers. Like, there's literally everything in this package. All right, so here we have the brow palette, and you can see I'm kind of taking out all of the little utensils and things like that in there. I was kind of surprised that the little angled brush was as stiff as it was, so I was kind of excited to test it out and kind of play around with it. And then you can see that the little pencil it came with was entirely smushed because, you know, lids are expensive. So I started out using the little angled brush that it came with, but it was a little bit frayed and it wasn't as precise as I wanted it to be to kind of get that nice curve at the bottom of the brow. So I went back to my normal brow brush instead, and I was using that. And the color selection is fairly good. This is the fair to medium palette, so there is one for darker complexions, darker brow colors, that kind of thing. So I was going in with the 2 darker shades and kind of mixing the 2 because I felt like my brow color kind of mimicked those colors. So my brows are a little bit darker than usual today. The one thing I will say about these brow powders is that they are very pigmented, and my brow brush was picking up a lot of product. So when I was putting it on, it was depositing a lot onto my brows, which isn't exactly the look that you want for, you know, an everyday brow look. So you can see there are the final results with my brows. It just was a little bit finicky in terms of the powder. So then I decided I wanted to go in and kind of clean up under the brows with the white cream product that they have in the palette, and I loaded up my brush thinking it wasn't going to be super pigmented, and you can see under my brows, whoa, that was a lot of product. So I had to clean that up a bit, but I was really impressed with that. Actually, I really like that product. Most of the sort of underbrow highlighting kind of products are either too shimmery for me or they're not pigmented enough. That was something I really enjoyed from this palette. And now this is where we are at. I've put on mascara, a little bit of liner on the tight line, done my foundation, concealer, etc, etc. I mistakenly put on highlight today, a liquid highlight, not thinking that I had a highlighter to test out, but we'll just throw it on top, we'll make it work. So now I'm gonna be going in with the Ultra Blush Palette Sugar and Spice. This one right here, it has, whoa, a lot of blushes. 8 to be exact. It says here there are both matte and shimmer. Oh, look at that, they spelled matte right, excellent. And there's already powder on here from one of the blushes, I assume. Haven't opened this yet. That's a little terrifying. Let's be a little bit careful in opening this. Oh good, nothing's broken. They have, again, one of those little film pieces that labels the product, though not with name, but with whether it is shimmer or matte. Just in case you weren't sure, it labels it for you. So we have 1 shimmer, these ones are all matte, and these 2 at the end, these swirly ones, are baked. Does baked mean it's shimmer or it's not? It looks shimmery to me. Looks very shimmery to me. Oh, and I entirely forgot to finish up underneath my eye. So let's do that next. So there are a lot of shades here and they're all really pretty. I like them. There are a couple of more neutral shades that are great for every day. Some nice bright pops of color in there. I'm curious about these really pretty baked ones though. I want to know what those look like. Okay, these ones are a little bit more on the chalky side. They're not as buttery as some of the shadows and stuff. But let's see. Whoa! That is a highlight, I guess is what they meant by that. Pretty though, I might use that in like the inner corner. I like that. What about this pinky one? All right, well, then baked stands for shimmer, just in case anyone was wondering. They're pretty. I can't see using those on my cheeks alone, but maybe like dusted on top of a matte blush, that might be pretty. I think I'm gonna mix these 2 shades here and see what happens. Bloop, bloop. We're gonna be more careful this time, not load up the brush with too much product. Lesson learned. I like it. It's a little bit soft, very subtle. So far, easy to blend. I'm gonna tap a little bit more onto my brush. Round 2. I like that combination. Very pretty. Like, you guys can see that, right? That looks nice. Like, I mean, I'm not overly picky with blushes as long as I don't look like a clown, but like, I like these. These are nice. All right, let's finish up the eye look now. I'm gonna go back in with that nice peachy brown shade, and I'm just gonna sweep that along the lower lash line. And then on the outer edge, I'm going to take that nice taupey shade right here, and I'm gonna put that on the outer edge. Then I'm just gonna deepen the blue shade of that liner and kind of blend everything out along the crease line, and then we are done. All right, next up, let's test out a new highlight. This is the Vivid Baked Highlight in the shade Radiant Lights. And at first glance, it's like a really cool way in which they baked the highlight in. Can you guys see all those like grooves and everything in it? That is pretty cool. All right, let's first swatch this. All right, so that is it swatched there. And it's actually less highlighty than the 2 blushes, which is interesting. But it is lighter. It is definitely on the pink side. I don't know how this is gonna go with this look, but we're gonna test it out anyway. It's fine. So I have a little bit of the liquid highlight on already, but I'm gonna put this on top and see how it goes. Again, I'm trying to be really, really gentle with how much I apply at a time. And that seems to be the way to do this. It is showing up on the skin though, and it looks really nice. I don't know how much it's gonna be picked up on camera, but there's some definite serious glow factor in person. Whoa, let's blend that out a little bit. This one is definitely more on the pinky side. I like it. I think I want something a little bit more golden, but like, this is still really pretty. It is very pigmented. You need just the smallest amount to put on, and you get some serious payoff, which is nice. And I'm gonna try this. No, am I gonna try this as an inner corner highlight? No, I wanna go with just the palette. So I'm gonna take that lightest shimmery shade there, and I'm gonna apply that to the inner corner and see what that looks like. All right, and last but not least of the products I wanted to kind of test out today is the Salvation Intense Lip Lacquer. Intense color, high shine, long-lasting gloss. Long-lasting gloss? Oh, I didn't realize this was a gloss. All right, cool. This is in the shade No Ordinary Love, which is a very pretty corally pink color. I have a couple of other shades in that same line that I will test out for you guys, and I'll do like a buy or buy on them once I've had a chance to like thoroughly test out everything. But let's give this a go. Well, that's not as pigmented as I thought it was gonna be. Oh man, it says here intense color. That doesn't feel like intense color to me. Like when you first like glide it on, like there's color there, but then as soon as you kind of smooth it out, it disappears and is very like a traditional gloss kind of thing. I don't know. Also, it's really settling into anything on my lips that is slightly dry. It's not like my Too Faced ones where they kind of like smooth over everything and like cover everything effortlessly. This sort of like emphasizes every little dry spot I have on my lips. Like, it's pretty. It's not like super wowing me or anything like that, but like it's nice. So here's the final look with my first impressions of some of the Makeup Revolution products. So now we are zoomed out, so I want to kind of talk with you guys about some of the products, kind of do like a download of what my first impressions were of the things and some of the things that I liked and some of the things that I didn't like. So first, the eyeshadows. I found them to be really good quality. The package itself is not like the best of quality or anything like that, but I think that's what you can expect from something that is much more affordable and a dupe for a higher end product. So that doesn't really bother me at all. In particular, I really liked the matte shades. I found them to have intense color payoff. They're really buttery and easy to blend out. The shimmer shades I wasn't as excited about. I put this sort of one in the inner corner of my eye, and it's nice, it's fine. I'm gonna experiment with it a little bit more and see if there are colors that I liked a little bit better. But this shade in particular, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me like right now, but I just don't see that pop of shimmer that I was kind of expecting. Something a little bit more metallic, something that was really going to show off really strongly on the lid. I'm not buying it. But everything else about this palette I really liked, and I can see why it's really popular. Now for the brows, obviously I wasn't impressed with the fact that my little eyebrow pencil was smushed. So I recommend putting a little cap on that Makeup Revolution. That would be nice. For the powders themselves, they were just a little bit finicky. Like, I had to kind of get used to the fact that my brush was picking up a lot of product and I had to be very delicate with my application of the brow, which is why my brows look really intense today. But I like the shades. There are a mixture of warm and cool tones, which I appreciate. I like the fact that they have one for fair to medium skin as well as for darker skin tones as well, which is nice. I didn't find these cream shadows to be particularly useful at all. This one was way too light. I'm not sure, maybe like as a concealer, I think maybe. And then this one was just a hair too dark. I tend to kind of go with a pencil or with a pomade. I find them to just be a little bit easier to manipulate, especially in the brow area where you want everything to be pretty precise. And these just were a little bit, I don't know, maybe it was just my brush and it just picked up a lot of product, but so for that reason, it's not something I'm going to be reaching for every single day. But this shade up here, that cream shade, beautiful for highlighting under the brows where you don't want it to be really shimmery and really over the top. Next up are these beautiful blushes, and again, I have no problem with this palette. I think that the colors, again, one of those things that you have to just be like, touch your brush in the colors that you want and sweep them onto the face. You don't want to kind of load up your brush on this because they are very saturated with color. And yeah, I like the combinations. I liked the shimmer. I didn't really notice it to be over the top shimmer, which is good. And the rest are matte, which is nice. These, I don't know. I'm going to experiment with them a little bit and just see how they look kind of dusted at the top end of the cheekbone, sort of maybe as a replacement for highlight. This one, like, for sure is a nice pink tone. Pink? I was gonna say peach. Good try, Rachel, but that is neither peach nor pink. It's like a cool toned icy pink. I can see myself using that more as a highlight shade. This one maybe dusted on top of a strong blush color or something. Other than that, I can't really see myself reaching for this that often. But the rest of the shades are really nice. I do like them and I can see myself using this more often. Now on to this highlight shade. You can see it on my face. It is very nice and strong. You can layer it. It's going to be much more pigmented with every single layer that you add. With this one, I put the tiniest amount on my brush again and swept it onto the face. I did 2 layers for this particular look, and in person, it is a very, very strong highlight. It is very over the top for me, at least like in person, kind of looking out at myself at the daylight. I'm like, whoa, I'm glowing. Like, I love myself a good strong highlight, but I think this is just even a little bit too icy for me for every day. I just think I'm going to want something a little bit warmer, so I might pick up something that is more in the yellow tones and see how that one looks. In terms of intensity, it is there. If you like a good intense highlight, you're going to love this. However, if you experience any sort of texture on your cheeks, enlarged pores, or acne or anything like this, this is going to emphasize it like 10 times more. So just keep that in mind if you're experiencing any of that. I just found this to kind of really showcase those particular areas a lot more prominently. And then lastly, the lip gloss. I was expecting this to be a lot more intense color than it ended up being. Like, it's not sticky in any way. It does have some color to it. There's not a ton of scent, but there's a little bit of scent. It feels kind of hydrating on the lips, which is nice, but it's kind of, it was, when I was first applying it, really picking up and settling into those areas where I have drier spots on my lips. I'm not super wowed by it in any way. I think I have a bunch of them like this from the drugstore that are super similar. So it wasn't for me something that is just over the top, wow, you need to get it, etc., etc. It's fine, but like, I wasn't super impressed with it. And that is everything for this First Impression Friday. Give it a thumbs up if you are excited to see more of these, and don't forget to leave me a comment down below with particular products that you want to see for the next round. So make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned for that, as well as next week's hyped Instagram products tested video, where I'll be testing out a couple of more of those Makeup Revolution products, as well as a bunch more. Super excited about that one. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful week and have a good weekend ahead, and I will see you guys all on Tuesday. Love you, girls. Mwah.